Okay, so this is season 1, episode 1 of my podcast that I'm starting called Empowered Ability, which eventually will be about people taking their strengths and capitalizing on them and trying to not focus on their weaknesses. I.e., I'm not running any marathons, so I don't focus on marathon practice. I focus on things that I can do, that I can be good at. To start the podcast is, well, at least in my thinking of, is where I come from. And that's you and Mom. Mom gets interviewed next time. I'm here to take 3 hours to set it up. But so today I have my dad, Rusty Merritt. And why I think that's important is just kind of showcasing, not only where I come from, but where I get some of my, I guess, attributes and where I learned some of the things I learned growing up and throughout life, and being able to kind of get them down on record. And it's good. Father's Day's coming up on Sunday, so it's another reason to do this. Anyways, so yeah. That's a brief overview of the episode. So today we have my dad, Charles Russell Merritt, goes by Rusty. I know him as, I don't know, good guy, person I look up to. A person who's served his community, his country, his family for most of his life. He's been retired for a while now, which we're going to talk about a little bit as we go through. You want to say a few words before we start? Or I guess we already started, but do you want to say anything?
Hi.
Hey. So yeah, how old are you?
70.
Really?
Yep.
I thought you were still in your 60s.
Nope.
See, we're learning things already. You're born in 1952?
Yep.
I guess I should have just been better at math. My dad didn't teach me much math growing up.
No.
1952, May 26th. Yeah. So that just came up. What? So I went on the internet and I found all these questions that you ask your dad in an interview, and that's where most of these questions came from, with some little bit in there, just random stuff that I thought might be cool to talk about. And then basically just going to go through them. What's your earliest memory?
My earliest memory.
Yeah, like the first memory you have.
I don't know, the old house back home.
The old house being the place you grew up.
Yeah, my grandma's house.
Same place you made, that I have a board stuck to the front of my house that
Right.
made a sign out of.
Exactly.
What comes to mind when you think about growing up in that house?
Being happy, poor, doing what I wanted to do, basically. Going out in the woods with the dog, playing under the house. We ate good, but we didn't have any money, but we still ate good. But it was just a good place to grow up.
And you, for lack of a better word, bulldozed that down to put your new house on, right?
Yes.
So currently you reside and have retired on top of
Right.
the house that you grew up in.
Exactly.
So kind of an interesting, what do they call it? Like that circle of life where you start off somewhere and you end up
There you
right
go.
back where you
Right
started.
back where you started at.
So it's good to start off with good memories, and I guess if you go back to the same place that you started from, you're hoping to end with good memories, not
Yep.
bad memories. But and we used to go there with the Boy Scouts and stuff, and that old house was still there, and we just thought it was haunted, and then, so we only went near it during the daytime.
Right.
I don't think we even got near it at night.
No.
And it was like overgrown, and
Yeah.
briars and everything else were stuck to it. It was a Civil War hospital.
Yep.
Do you know when it was built?
It built probably around, I don't know, about 1850 probably.
So was it built for that purpose, or was it built to be a house?
No,
and
it
then,
built to be like a plantation.
yeah, it goes around 1850. That's pretty close to like 1860 something was Civil
Yeah.
War, right?
Yeah.
So it immediately got put into use.
Yep.
And was our family living there then, or did
No.
they get it after that?
No, there was a doctor living there then. He's the one that had the house built. So I guess that's why they made it a hospital.
I guess that makes sense. And how did our family? Is it my great granddad, or great grandma that got it, or?
Your great granddaddy bought it. It was about probably 300 or 400 acres and the house and the farm, blah blah blah. So
And that was what was his last name? Is it Merritt, or is it Yarborough?
Yeah, Yarborough.
Yarborough.
yep.
Nose is running. And did you know him?
No, I never met him.
That was
Way before
before
my
you.
time, Yep. I didn't know.
But
I don't know
you
that
lived
much
there
about
with-
that family anyway.
Yeah.
Got part of the family.
But you lived there with my great grandma, which is your grandma,
And your great great grandma.
who was a because the first Merritt was my grandmother, your mother, that married Haywood.
Right.
Okay.
But your great grandma was a Sutherland.
Sutherland.
Yep.
And those are all big names in that area. Anyway.
Yeah,
Yarborough, Sutherland.
Mhm.
I don't think Merritt's a big name, but it came in there from somewhere.
Right.
So what was the best thing about living in that house? Like, what part of the house did you like the most? I know you told me stories about playing underneath it with like those little plastic Indians and cowboys and Indians kind of thing.
Actually, I'd use sticks. I'd take sticks and shave the ends of them off. They were my soldiers. And that way when they get shot, I just break them. And so, but I liked the whole house. I mean, the house had a lot of secret areas in it that you could climb into. And, you know, it wasn't the only place it was heated at was in the kitchen and the living room. So I loved both of those rooms, so they were heated. But yeah, it was just a good, nice, friendly place to grow up.
Where were your closest neighbors?
My aunt and her husband. They lived about half a mile away. Uncle Dave.
You're talking about that, like up that road that goes to the main road, but before where it got washed out, like where the Furburps live or whatever.
Yeah. It was Uncle Dave and Aunt Eliza.
And there was I'm assuming a different house there at the time. Is that house still there somewhere in like the woods or something?
Yep, it's right there in the woods.
Behind where that other.
Beside it. If you're coming down the road,
Never
you
seen
got that house, and you just said right there in the woods, right on the right. You can throw a bottle at it and hit it.
I don't think I've ever noticed it.
Yeah, well, it's in the woods, so you probably wouldn't have. But it was like the old house that it was built different.
What did you have as a child that kids today don't have?
Probably a slingshot, 22 rifle, a dog.
I feel like that question's backwards. Like it should be like, what do kids today don't like? I don't know. I feel like we have the same things that everybody can still grow up with the same shit.
Yeah.
You know.
But most like you told me like kids today, they're sitting around looking at their telephones. So
Yeah.
So I didn't have that. I mean, we didn't have a telephone.
Free time away from being tethered to the
Kidding.
the TV.
It was I stayed in the woods with the dog most of the time in the 22 rifle, and I was like 9 years old.
So you learned about gun safety early on.
Oh yeah. After I shot myself.
So, well, they say you can't shoot yourself unless you have a gun.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
So so that's why all the people are like, "Hey, I'll get rid of guns. We won't be able to shoot ourselves with them if we don't have them." So think of some of the relatives that you were talking about that live with you, live down the street or whatever. It says in the last few years, but obviously they've been going a while. What would they be doing right now if they were still around and able to hang out with you?
Probably just sitting around outside, cooking on the grill, stuff like that, and just talking. I didn't have any flamboyant relatives that would do wonderful things,
Just simple people doing simple things.
Exactly.
When you were a teenager, which family member did you go to for advice? Looking back, was it good advice?
Yeah, my old man. My dad.
What is the best advice he gave you?
Best advice? Don't join the Marine Corps.
Why was that good advice?
Well, because, I mean...
Looking back, I guess.
Yeah, well, because he was probably right. I mean...
Is it because he was in the Navy?
No, it's because he just didn't want me to go. Vietnam was still going on and everything else. But, I understood what he meant once I got to Parris Island. So,
don't we all?
Yeah.
We all understand what's
exactly. Yeah.
As soon as you step off,
we all question our thinking.
Step off the bus, I don't know. When I stepped off the bus, I was like, "Oh boy, this is what I thought it would be."
Yeah, well, I didn't. I didn't have a clue what it was.
Yeah, I think that's a difference between, people that joined whenever. There's always that mystique of it, and then there's the realization when you get off the bus. But as much media and stuff that's covered it from the 80s till now, you have a pretty good idea now of what you're getting into.
Right.
You get to talk to other people that are recruits or whatever, or you go to your delayed entry program and you get people that just got out of boot camp are coming back and tell you any stories about what happened.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You get a lot more intel on what's going to happen. And some people still, they get there and they're shitting their pants and, crying. They don't know what to do. And they're walking left foot, right foot, but they're walking right foot, left foot, or like side. They're walking that way, and everybody else is walking this way, just because it's even knowing what to expect, you don't know what to expect or how you're going to react to it, I guess.
Right.
What's some good advice that he gave you that you did take?
I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint that because he gave me a lot of good advice that helped me out a lot. But I don't know. I can't think of what would be anything spectacular about any advice he gave me that made any difference in me. His advice was he supplied me with what I needed to grow up with. He would bring me knives, he'd bring me guns, he'd let me do whatever I wanted to do with them. He would go out squirrel hunting with me. He just gave me real good learning advice. I would guess that's what I'd say.
What are some of your favorite stories, well, I guess of your dad or your grandparents or
Well, I don't know anything about my
fond
grandparents,
memories?
but 'cause I never met any of my grandparents. But
Were they all dead or were they just?
dead, yeah. Uh, Probably the Navy stories that he used to talk about World War II. So that was
What was the one that's the most in your like memorable in your mind?
well, like when he was at Normandy. They were shelling so hard at night that he could sit there and read the newspaper with just the blast of the guns going off.
No, the lights.
Yeah. So and that he would see the troops, the army guys, floating back in big groups like the size of a house, floating together that had been killed on the beach, and were floating back. I mean, that wasn't a favorite story of mine, but it was the one
Right.
I remember.
It's all right if you like that.
Yeah.
Yes, the army men floating around.
Yeah.
I can see how that could be like a story you'd remember, though. You know, and
Yeah, see, people don't realize that they were getting killed by the hundreds.
more than that, it was
Yeah.
about thousands. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like hundreds of thousands.
But people
of
don't
men on the
realize
beach.
that. They can't visualize a big circle of men floating back out with
Right.
shoulder packs on and everything else.
Yeah. I mean, they don't show that in Bandit Brothers.
No,
You know?
no,
They show a little bit of it, like, oh, we got shot. They don't show like 1,000 dudes that
Right.
just died, just laying in a
Exactly.
big heap.
yep. In an hour before that, they were alive.
And they're not like just dead and laying there. They're like missing half their body or their heads blown, their heads over there, dismembered, disemboweled,
Yeah.
and everything in between. Some people aren't even left. They just got blown up into a pile of pink stuff. Some of the tugboats they used were made into land. I think I sent you that link.
Yeah.
So they still, there's a couple of, or like 7 or 8 of them still around across the world today that people have turned into like their mega yacht or
Yeah.
whatever. They used to make the hull into land, floated up to Jacksonville, and put the whatever the top's called, the bridge and all that crap.
Superstructure.
Superstructure. I don't think it's like I think they're 70-foot boats.
Yeah.
So I don't know how super that structure is, but what at the top of it? Doodaloo boop boop. All right. So what was the? Get back to it. Some of these questions are a little bit weird, but what is the most embarrassing thing your mother or father ever did to you?
Well, I guess that the most embarrassing thing is that in Magnolia, you could hear the ice cream truck coming down the road. My dad was talking to some guy, and I kept pulling because I wanted an ice cream. And, the truck was just played music, so it was getting louder and louder. And so he kept telling me to leave him alone, and I kept pulling because I wanted 10 cents to buy an ice cream. And finally just turned around and beat my butt. So that pretty much embarrassed me. That was one of the things I can remember. I guess that my mother, the only thing she ever did was after I was getting ready to retire at my retirement ceremony, she'd come up and hug me and got lipstick all over my shirt. So I had to go change ribbons and name tags and collar devices and everything else. Luckily, I had another shirt that had been ironed.
I don't remember that. I was at that ceremony.
Yeah, well, because I'd already changed the shirt.
Oh, so that was before.
Yeah.
I don't remember her being there.
No, she was there.
I remember, the ceremony and stuff. I just don't remember. I don't remember her being there for some reason.
Well, she was.
I can somewhat remember just the picture of everybody else like sitting around in my head, but was she sitting up front next to Mom?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm kind of visualizing it now because I was up there with her too. Did your parents or you didn't know your grandparents, but and they died of just natural causes or?
I think my dad died of emphysema, and my mom fell and hit her head.
Oh, I'm talking about your grandparents.
Oh, I don't know. My granddaddy killed himself. So, and my grandma just died of natural causes.
Did they ever lose their jobs?
Who?
Like your parents?
Yes.
What happened and how did they start over?
I don't. Yeah, I was
Hold
young.
on, let me put my feet up.
Yeah. I was young. I can't remember. Why they lost their jobs or why they restarted it.
Well, most people don't really like. Come here, son. Dad sucked at work.
No, nobody told me nothing.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't think people. That's what they share. Can I have some of this coffee, Dylan? Everybody gather around the fire. Dad lost his job again.
Yeah.
Well, I showed up late to work for the last 3 weeks. Dran drunk.
Well, that could be.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as I remember, Grandpa was Granddad was pretty employed. I mean, he owned his own. Like I'm assuming, got into his own trucking business, bought a truck, and then was a owner operator, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he drove a truck forever. So once he started driving a truck, I mean, he was employed ever since.
Yeah, it's one of those things that are never, going to go away.
Right.
Unless they figure out how to make drones fly 52-foot trailers.
Yep.
If you could go back to one day in your childhood, which day would that be and why?
Just tough questions. One day in my childhood.
Well, we're getting out of childhood soon, so
Good.
we're transitioning.
It's hard to remember what you would go back to because I can't think of anything that I would go back to in my childhood because basically I have a hard time remembering my childhood. But, I don't know, probably the time that, believe it or not, I was lost in the woods with my dog and had to spend like a night out in the woods with my dog. But, that was, to me and him, it was fun. Even though I didn't have no sleeping bag or tent or nothing like that, but still, We laid there and he laid up next to me and slept like a log that night.
What was your dog's name?
Bob.
Bob.
Yep.
Funny, relevant fact that or factoid is that they give all the fighter pilots like all these goofy names.
Mm-hmm.
I went to watch that Top Gun movie, and one of the guys' names was Bob. That was his nickname. They had like Rooster and Wizard and
and
Maverick and Bob, and they're like, "What? Yeah, Bob." No backstory to it. That was in the movie at least, or if they had it in the movie, I missed it. But he's just like, "No, it was just Bob, Bob."
Well, Bob was a Bob. I mean, he was a great big, huge bulldog, and he was brindle color.
Like most of the dogs you were training and stuff, right? When you were doing in the Coast Guard and then for the Sheriff's Department, they were a lot of brindle colored dogs.
Yeah.
So we talked about your dad trying to keep you from going in the Marine Corps. What made you decide to go into the Marine Corps? And when did you do that? Like what age? Why didn't you go to college? Why didn't you? Out of all the things you could have done, you chose that.
Yeah, because I just got married, and it's just something me and your mom wanted, I had any choice I could make, I chose the Marine Corps because I just felt like it was the toughest or whatever. So, but that's why I joined. I mean, me and your mom just wanted a different life. We didn't want to be raised again. We didn't want our life lived in Duplin County. We wanted to go out and do other things.
What age were you when you got married?
19.
And you joined the Marine Corps when you were
19.
19. What were you doing for a job before that?
Working at National Spinning at a textile mill.
Was that the place that's like right down the street from the house that you grew up in?
No.
I can't remember what that was called. I mean, that's a newer facility, but I don't know if they had an older spot there too.
This
but
place is like going towards Warsaw.
but same kind of thing where they're like making cotton into thread or something.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we did.
Yeah, I don't want to get the hell out of there too.
Yep.
I don't think I could.
Because that was your
Rumpelstiltskin for the rest of my life.
Yep. That was basically your life there if you wanted to stay.
That area, yeah. So what's that? Tobacco.
Yeah. I didn't like doing that, so.
So it was a way. I think that's a lot of reason. A lot of people join the military specifically. Is that get out of my hometown? It's like there's nothing here.
Right.
Or it's I live in the inner city and I'm either gonna get murdered one night, or I'm tired of getting robbed, or I'm tired. I don't want to live a life where I'm just robbing people.
Yeah.
It seems like that's the type of people you meet when you. Marine Corps in general, it's like you always meet those people from small towns that are bigger than their town is, character wise or personality wise or whatever, ego wise, and then the people from the inner city that are just like tough kids that know that isn't gonna, like, they're not gonna make it as long as they'd like to if they stay in their area, or they're gonna end up selling drugs or whatever else, but. Always a bunch of tough kids. You know?
Or the court sent them there.
Yeah. There's not a lot of intellectuals that are like, I can go to Harvard, or Mom and Dad, I'm going to the Marine Corps.
Yeah, I wasn't smart enough to go to college anyway. So I just did barely. I didn't even make it through high school, so I didn't even make it through that. So.
But you ended up doing some college, right? Like you did some.
Yeah.
Like,
when I got out of the Marines.
Yeah, I know. And what was your enlistment in the Marine Corps? Like, was it 4 years, or did you do 2 and 2?
6 years.
So it was the 4 years active, 2 years like inactive, or 2 years? I know they used to do like 2 years active duty, 2 years like reserve duty.
4 and 2.
4 and 2. What are some of your tell me a cool story from the Marine Corps.
From the Marine Corps?
Yeah.
Me and this kid named Mills we were working in the galley at infantry school, because you had to spend a week in the galley. And which people know, oh, you're working in the galley, you're working around food. Oh, wonderful. No, it's not wonderful. You go and they wake you up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and you go to the galley and you start cleaning it. And then you start helping whatever the cook's going to do, and then you work, and then about 10 o'clock at night you finally get back to the barracks, and then they still wake you up at 1 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, me and Mills is on the line, and we were shoveling out dessert, and we was also eating dessert. So the mess sergeant came up and he poured us around. We were sitting there. He said, "You guys been eating anything?" I said, "No, sir." Of course, we had chocolate all around our mouth. So he wrote us up, and his desk sat in the middle of the cafeteria. Was his desk, and he was sitting at his desk. And Mills walked up to his desk and was talking to him, and as he was talking to him, his hands reached up and grabbed that, where he wrote us up, and pulled it off the desk and put it in his pocket and walked away. And we never heard anything from it because of Mills, because he was crazy anyway. Because all of us were, everybody's last name started with an M. You know, where I,
Yeah, my buddy Bill Heinzelman says we're in the Marine Corps. You're friends by the alphabet.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I'm only friends like we met because he like I was with the M's. He was across the squad bay with the H's.
Yeah.
So it was him, Hernandez, Houlette, me. I don't think any of the other M's were noteworthy. We had some good H's though. We had some really good H's.
But and other as we were, they come to get us with the helicopters out of the field, and I got in the Huey, and we piled into the Huey, and we started to take off, and I was reached over to hit the safety strap on the Huey, and when I did, the helicopter banked, and when it banked, I went right out the door, and but I did a complete flip, and I landed right on my pack, and everything. I said, well, that wasn't too bad. And then McMurtry, McMurtry, he weighed about 220 pounds. And he fell right on top of me because he tried to grab me, and he also fell out. So, which almost broke every bone in my body. But
yeah, that's probably one of the reasons they don't fly a lot of Marines in side door helicopters. No. Only the ones that kind of know what they're doing. I know we went around in Blackhawks at Fort AP Hill, and we were doing where you basically. You'd have like a fire team plus and a helicopter, and you'd fly down. Everybody would jump out, get on their belly, and then shoot at stuff. But I don't think we were strapped into anything. I think we were just like sitting in the seats are facing outboard on those things. Mm-hmm. The Huey, they're kind of you can face outboard, but they're facing forward and backward.
Exactly.
And the Blackhawk, your feet are dangling out of it when you're flying around. Luckily, I never fell out of the damn thing. We did have a few Marine Corps helicopters that wanted to lose hydraulics and stuff. And one that had to do a crash landing in Kosovo because it blew up. We had the same helicopters that y'all did. Like literally, they're like, "Oh, this helicopter was built in 1963." It still had bullet holes from Vietnam in it. It's like, shouldn't we have updated these by now or patched that hole? I don't know if the Marine Corps needs to keep the historical stuff like that.
Well, they did.
They sure did, because we're like, if it doesn't need to be fixed, why fix that hole?
Yeah, most of our gear had U.S. Army wrote on it.
Sounds about right. I know when I first got in, we still had Alice packs, and they were just phasing those out, and it was like. Yeah. Alice packs and H harnesses and just a horrible bunch of crap to try to strap to your body. You got like 14 different shoulder straps for like each individual backpack.
We had the field, when I went in, we had what they called a field transport pack, where there was 2 packs, and they would hook together, and they were only little packs like this and like that, so.
They always try to make stuff modular. So it was like, you only have to carry one of these if you go on a day trip. And then it's like, you got to pack 2 of them if you're going for a week.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Marine Corps is always going for a week, even if you're going for a day. Yeah. So it's like, we're going to pack the fucking everything we got and the kitchen sink into this thing.
That's like us when we went on a 20-mile forced march one time, and we walked down 10 miles, and we got to eat. And while we were eating, they come up and told us to put on our spare boots because we're supposed to bring everything we'd bring. Well, there was probably out of 40 of us, or 50, ever how many there was probably one guy that brought us spare boots. And so they told us to take our boots off and throw them in the truck. So we took our boots off, threw them in the truck, and we marched back 10 miles without shoes. So I'll tell you what, the next time we went on the forced march.
Yeah, we all carried it.
Exactly.
We would have intermittently, at least, we would get in formation to go on humps or hikes or for whatever you want to call them, and they'd be like empty your packs. We're going to make sure you have everything on the packing list. So we were like, and then you'd see people getting, hazed and whatever else. And it was like, oh, that guy's going to have to work this weekend. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make sure. So I was one of those guys that always brought everything anyways, because like it's better to just not have to deal with some asshole screaming at me because I didn't bring 6 pairs of socks like I'm supposed to. And there must be some good reason behind it. Maybe this makes me stronger carrying heavier shit.
I've got to wear my boots out in 10 miles.
Yeah. I don't know. We used to have to carry extra pairs, but that was only so that just to weight down the pack. They're like, oh, the pack's not full enough yet.
Yeah.
We need to maybe put some extra boots in there.
Right.
Instead of 6 pairs of socks, make it 10. And like 10 MRE. Like, get a box of MREs in there. You need food for 3 weeks in your pack. Get out of here. But we did it. And probably ways the Marine Corps might not be the smartest people, but we're the hardest people. And most of the times, that's all it takes. At least we have one smart guy with you.
Yeah, usually.
Go this way. Okay. And you got out as what'd you get out as rank-wise?
Lance Corporal.
Were you like nowhere near the corporal rank, or
I already made corporal.
Oh, you got busted down?
Yeah.
What'd you get busted down for?
Fighting.
It happens. Was it? We used to always say we go out at night. It's either we're going to end up fighting or fucking. The whole thing. Most of the time it was fighting. We couldn't get laid. You can't get laid, you get angry, and you want to fight somebody.
Yep.
Well, it's 3 a.m. I guess we might as well just pick a fight with somebody. We didn't have a lot of people get in trouble for that, though. Most of us were pretty good at not getting caught when we do stupid things. And then, infantry Marines, it's like, we expect you to go out and do dumb stuff. So as long as you keep it in a certain level of dumb, like we'll handle it internally. Just don't do anything so dumb that like the base general is the one telling us about it.
Yep.
So married at 19. When was Scott born while you were still in the Marine Corps or after the Marine Corps?
After the Marine Corps.
And after the Marine Corps, you're saying that you like got back home, and so you didn't go far because basically went to Camp Lejeune. You were at Cherry Point or wherever. Yeah. And then you like all Marines do, we go everywhere else from that particular duty station, which there are only 3 duty stations. If you're in the infantry, there's only 2 really. Then you go over to Okinawa. It was Vietnam during your period. I'm assuming they had unit deployment things that went to Okinawa, and then they went on to Vietnam or rotated in and out of there. There or Hawaii, right? Hawaii, Guam.
Yeah, and most of the time you went to Okinawa when you screwed up. So.
Yeah, they sent our whole unit there. But it was just one of those rotational kind of things. So you made it back home after exploring the world in the Marine Corps, and decided on, you'd left because you didn't want to be there, but now you're back there.
Yeah. Well, I went to college. I took fisheries research and management, and as I was doing that, I took a job as a security guard, Allied Security. And all that, I was just sitting on the front porch one day in my house there in Kinston, where me and your mama lived, and I was sitting there saying, this ain't working for me, because I had tried to get a job at that fisheries stuff, and the only job that was opening was in Tennessee Valley Authority, and walking around with a fish shocker on your back, shocking fish. And I couldn't see myself in the water with something that made electricity on my back. Mm-hmm. But So I was sitting on the front porch, and I said, I got to do something. And I heard something. I looked up, and flying over the house was a Coast Guard C-130. I said, well, I'm going to join the Coast Guard. And that's how I decided to join the Coast Guard.
Well, I guess it's good it wasn't like some other thing flying for the house.
No, I mean, it's just
Seemed to work out.
Yeah, I had
serendipitous.
I'd never thought of the Coast Guard, then. I'd never actually even.
I don't think anybody knew about the Coast Guard
No,
then.
no. So,
They're like, Coast Guard, unless you live next to the coast, like near a Coast Guard station.
yeah.
And even now, people don't even. It's like the redheaded step kid, It's
Yeah,
like
I
they
know.
don't really think about it.
And it's amazing because the Coast Guard is probably one of the hardest services that there is.
I agree.
It truly is. When you
Well,
got
it's 24/7. Constantly doing your training, but you're doing the things that you're training to do always.
exactly.
So it's always on.
Yep.
You're always on.
You're doing it for real, all the time.
Whereas you can stay in the Marine Corps for 30 years and never go to war
Exactly.
or the Army or whatever else, and then Coast Guard. If you're one of those jobs like a bosun's mate or a gunner's mate, or you're going to be doing your job.
Yep.
If you're a yeoman, you might get stuck in
Oh yeah. Yep.
somewhere doing finance in D.C. or something, but everybody else is on a boat, protecting the shore, guarding the coasts, or putting buoys in and out or whatever.
Yeah, I never did that.
Well, there's some people that spend their whole career taking buoys out.
Yeah, some people loved it.
I could see doing that. I know they have the Mississippi ones.
Yeah.
Like going up and down the river would be kind of cool. And
Well, they had different things. You had you were on a ship, or you had what you call a-ton teams. So you had a boat that's maybe 40 foot long, and you go around and work on little leads. So when I was stationed in Hatteras Inlet, you had a chokeberry was there. It was a little buoy tender. It's about 65 feet long. It was, it looked like a little toy.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really into buoys.
yeah, it doesn't sound like where the action is.
No.
Let's go out and repaint that reflective sign in the channel.
Yep, exactly.
Yes, gung ho. Give me a T-shirt. Yeah, I don't see many Marines that were like comm guys with communications
Yeah,
T-shirts on. You know what I mean?
Right.
They've got the Marine with the big devil dog on it, but they don't have I sat in a closet and talked on the radio. Which is good. It's always about promoting the best.
Yep.
It's all about recruiting and marketing. Where'd you meet Mom at?
Blind date.
I think I have heard this story. Who set that up?
Friend of mine, Roscoe Garner. Him and his wife. Yeah.
You grew up in Kenansville and you got a friend named Roscoe.
Yep. There you go. And a dog named Bob.
And a friend named Roscoe and a dog named Bob. Where'd y'all go to? What was the date? Was it dinner? Was it a movie? Was it something different?
I think we went to a movie. I don't remember. You have to ask your mom because I just remember going.
Well, I'll save that question for her interview then.
Yeah.
And I get the full picture. So was it bells and whistles to begin with, butterflies in the stomach, or was it a couple dates, 3 dates, 4 dates, and you're
No,
I'm gonna like this person.
Yeah, I think it was for me. I don't know about your mom, but because 3 months later we were married.
Oh, yeah, so that's pretty quick. I remember vaguely some story about you wrecking your car listening to Percy Sledge.
Yeah, going down the road. Yeah. Yeah, I think me and your mama had a fight or something. I was listening to Percy Sledge, and just next thing I know, I ran out of road.
When a Man Loves a Woman. That one?
Probably.
I think it was that one. I vaguely remember that, and I was trying. My scheme, the currently is to get one of my musical talented friends to play that song. Next time I take Mom to one of their shows, make them play it. So you spent 4 years in the Marine Corps. You spent an odd year-ish out at college or back home.
Yeah.
And then you're like, this ain't for me.
Right.
And then went back to the Coast Guard. What do you think were some of the you went to Cape May, New Jersey for boot camp. You know, when you went there, was it the same kind of feeling? Were you expecting the level of intensity at that boot camp that you had like at Parris Island, or were you just like, oh, this should be a walk in the park?
Well, no, I didn't know. I didn't know one way or the other. But when I got there, yes, it was just like Parris Island. I mean, they started screaming and yelling and hollering and lining everybody up and doing this and that and the other, doing through medical and screaming, hollering, and yelling. And you had these drill instructors, just like Marine drill instructors. And finally, at one point, they said, if you're prior service, get out of this bunch of maggots. So we walked away, and then everything was cool from there on.
Everything was Gucci.
Once they found out we were prior service. So then the rest of the poor little guys, they went to the regular boot camp, which is bad.
And you went to like an indoctrination kind of thing?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Here's your new uniform. And
yeah, here's how you tie a bowline.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. You don't salute in the doors.
Gather around, everybody.
So, but yeah, it was just a cakewalk. We stayed there about a month.
I think from everybody, you know, I've spoken with through all the branches, and I know people from every branch, and you know, you hear people's stories of boot camp, and it seems, I don't know if it's the kind of person that goes into the Coast Guard, but their boot camp always seems to be like the toughest. When I hear like how it relates to, you know, Marine Corps,
Yeah.
and my experience and other people's experiences with the Air Force or Army basic training.
I don't think it's a tough. I think the Marine Corps is the toughest. I think the Coast Guard is second. You know, because
I agree with that.
basically they're not teaching you nothing. They're just doing discipline on you.
Yeah.
So, and they're throwing them out left and right, just like the Marine Corps was doing.
Yeah, I don't think that's something that other people understand. Is the Coast Guard's attrition rate's really high, and they're recruiting like the very small percent. They're the smallest service that we have.
Right. There's more New York City cops than there is Coast Guard.
Yeah, and people just don't realize that it's not only hard selection to be a part of it, but they kind of are the same like the Marine Corps. They want to weed you out too once you get to boot camp.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you made it through the recruiting process, that means you're worthy.
Yep, exactly.
Even though we only picked you out of 100 people, you know, we're still going to force you to figure out whether or not you made the right decision.
Yeah. And when I went in Coast Guard, I mean, I left Cape May and I got stationed at Hatteras Inlet, and I was, you know, going there with a seaman stripes and a hash mark. But once I got to Hatteras Inlet and started meeting people and everything, there were seamen that had been in the Coast Guard for 15 years. You know, they just didn't want to make raid.
They just love the sea.
So.
I think you find that in the Marine Corps a lot too, where you get like a staff NCO that's been in 30 years. He's like, well, I can retire as a staff sergeant, and I like being a staff sergeant.
There you go.
You know, I don't care about being a gunny. I don't care about anything else. I'm fine where I'm at. Some captains in the Marine Corps the same way. Once they get, I don't know what it's called. It's like getting vetted. Basically, when you, as an officer in the Marine Corps, you join your reservist, even though you're on active duty. You're a reserve officer, and that's what your commission says. And then once you get up to the rank of captain, you basically get you get awarded active duty officer status. It's something like that. I'm sure it's called something different, but some people get to that status. Like I could have stayed, you know, but if things would have went a different way, you know, been a captain and retired just because of my prior service time. And what does service mean to you?
What is service?
Yeah, so you spent this, Marine Corps, Coast Guard. We haven't really talked about the Sheriff's Department, Police Department stuff, but all these things are service oriented. And what does service mean to you?
I guess that means honor, respect. It's just a feeling of pride. You're doing a lot of things a lot of people can't do. You're doing a lot of things a lot of people are never going to do.
They don't want to do it.
Exactly. When you're going out of an inlet at night and it breaking 15, 20 feet, and there's nobody in the world that can do that hardly, but just a few individuals that can actually do that. So you feel pride in yourself, and in the Coast Guard, everything you did was self-satisfaction. You didn't get a whole lot of attaboys. So that's one thing I see about the service.
So you spent how many years in the Coast Guard? 20-something?
25.
So after 29-ish years, almost 30 years, you get out, you go home, and you'd already figured on being part of the Sheriff's Department, right?
Yeah.
Or continuing
Right.
something.
Yes.
In law enforcement,
Yep.
specifically. I think it's because you were doing the drug dog thing at the time.
Yep.
And you wanted to continue doing that because you enjoyed it.
Right. So,
And then people kind of screwed that up. Or the people that you were training dogs for kind of made you feel like, I can't train dogs for people because they're people.
Yeah. That's that is the thing. Because when I first got out, I got a DEA license, which was typical government, because you either had North Carolina approval or DEA approval. In other words, you had to have both of them, and one wouldn't give you one without the other. So I finally got that done. Got that. That's squared away.
I remember you going through like putting the safe in
safe,
putting the safe
alarms
in a safe,
and
putting the safe in a safe with an alarm.
Yeah, and so you started training. I started training sheriff's departments, and that wasn't too bad, and because they were really wanting to learn. They had their own dogs, and they'd already basically been trained. But I trained a few dogs for them, and then got to the point where people come and want me to train them dogs so they could search schools. Well, see, they can't have real dope at home because they don't have a license.
Right.
So they would have to use a pseudo. And I just didn't believe in that. Pseudos didn't smell like dope. So I just quit doing it. And then I went to the Sheriff's Department and had my own dog that I trained, and I became a canine officer.
And this is back where you started again.
Yes.
Back home.
Yep.
And then, there was an accident that you had while working for the Sheriff's Department that it definitely didn't put you out of commission, but it sent you to the police department. Like you kind of got away from being a part of the team that was going all around the county at 100 miles an hour. Or why was that transition after that accident where you went from Sheriff's Department to police department?
It was a while after that accident, because after that I came back to the Sheriff's Department because I was out for a month, and started doing this, that, and the other, and finally they made me a road sergeant, so I stayed on there for a while, and finally a friend of mine who was the chief of police asked me if I'd come work for him, so I said yeah. So that's why I left the sheriff's department.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that period.
Yeah.
Because I moved down there shortly after that accident, like that summer when I finished college.
Yeah.
And then I went back on active duty, so I was back and forth to Stone Bay. And then I went to OCS, but once we figured out that you were going to be fine. So how did you find the transition between like Coast Guard law enforcement stuff that you were doing on that level and local law enforcement stuff that you transitioned to?
100% different. In the Coast Guard, we would have a boarding team. We would have 7 or 8 guys. You know, and in the county, you had 4 deputies that running the whole county. And sometimes you only had 1 deputy running the whole county because you had 2 deputies carrying mental cases to somewhere in the state and somebody out. So it was only you. So you were out in these by yourself. I mean, you had to answer all these calls right by yourself. And they weren't calls like boarding a boat, see if they had a life jacket. You know, there was bad calls like domestics and shootings and stuff like that. And so as you were going along all by your lonesome.
I think that's what maybe I don't realize, or just people, general public don't realize. It's like, yeah, we have a police department here, but we only have like 10 officers, and they're on rotating shifts, 3 days to 4 days out of the week. And, you know, they're not like on call when they go home. Some may be in some departments, I don't know. But, you know, when they have these shootings that happen and they're like, well, where are all the police officers? Well, when you only budget, you know, however many thousands of dollars so that we can only afford 2 police officers and that dude that we have as a volunteer in the community service officer car, you know, how can you expect us to police when we don't have the manpower to do it, and not even that, we don't have the budget to do it. Then we got to recruit good cops. You know, we got to find good cops, because that's not easy, because they don't go through a process like the military does where you're making everyone the same. Like, you put them in boot camp to make everyone the same.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to break you down, and then we're going to make you all Coast Guard material, Army material, Marine Corps material. But you go to these community colleges and you go to basic law enforcement training, every school is different. And one might be the best and put out great products, and the other one might put out people with certificates that you can hire because you need one more cop on the force.
Right.
Or you have a quota for one, and this is the only guy in your county that wants to be a cop. You know, the military has the whole nation to pull people from.
Yep.
You have Kenansville.
Right.
So I don't think, you know, people look at what are the root causes of these mass shootings and these other things, or bank robberies or domestic violence or speeding. You know, people break the law because they can, because there's not enough people to police the laws.
Yeah, and then everybody blames the cops. So.
But yeah, they're underserved, I think is the way to put it.
Yep.
Underfunded, underserved, underappreciated. You know, there's a big part of the population that, well, we're all, I guess, biased for the people that we keep around us, but, you know, the people I keep around me, you know, they support police, they support the military.
Right.
Well, there's also a whole lot of people that don't support it.
Exactly.
But not that they don't support it, but they don't actively promote it until something happens.
Yep.
Then it's like, wait, we need better police officers. Well, we needed them before. You know, you just didn't notice because you didn't give a shit.
It didn't affect you.
Except for that one guy that pulled you over for having an expired registration or something, and you got pissed off at the county because, we should get 30-day grace period. I like stupid shit.
Yeah.
You know? Not the stuff that really matters, where it's like, well, we need to up taxes by $10 a person so that we can afford a school resource officer here that can, and then it's like, whoa, you want $10 more out of my paycheck to do what? Because that's where the money comes from. people don't. I don't know if they don't connect those dots.
I do.
A lot of people do, but at the same time, the dots they're really connecting are you're taking $10 from me.
Right.
To do what? How many school shootings we had? What's the percentage of chance that my school's going to get shot up? Well, I don't know that was worth $10. It's like, roulette. You can bet the 35-1 odds, or you can bet the 2-1 odds. Mm-hmm. Well, I'd rather put my money on something I know I'm going to get something out of, not some dude sitting at the school. Although it's good. Like, we should have people that are there to protect these things, our institutions.
Yep.
But, and that's not solving the problem, because you're still going to have solving the problem is the wackadoodles that are you have this hero complex, or think that shooting up a school is going to make them live in infamy, when it's like, you're the 247th dude to shoot up a school this year. I just forgot your name after 5 seconds.
I haven't heard your name, but they never had mentioned it on the media.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, is they're saying media, even though they're not trying to sensationalize the problem, just by putting it on the radio, you're causing another person that might be like on the fence of whether or not they're going to do it.
Yeah. And
now they're going,
you're causing everybody in the world, like everybody to get political. Everybody wants to talk about get rid of the guns, So.
Well, some people are like, well, we talked about it, the doors thing, where it's like, all right, we'll have one point of entry and exit, and then put a guard on the inside of that point of entry.
Yeah, then you got
lock the door.
Some stupid teacher that opens the door to get some air
and props it open with a rock.
So there you go.
Yeah, and I totally understand. That seems like something that people do. Like, I could see me doing that, like working out of school, and it's like 1,000 degrees, and we don't have the funding to fix the air conditioner or have somebody protect the school. So I'm going to open up the door so we cool off. And then,
the thing is,
what are the chances some, 18-year-old kid with an AR-15 is going to run through the door?
You can't stop it. There's really no way. I mean, if you've got any a window that size there, all you got to do is just shoot it, hit it with the butt of the rifle, and come in. So there's no stopping it until you look at the people who are doing it, and it's always these stupid, bonehead,
mental health
idiots just doing it.
There's nobody that's like America's hero that's going into the school and shooting elementary kids.
No, you got some guy that looks like he's staring at a wall for 30 minutes. So.
It's not even like, people sometimes will say like, oh, it's these Army guys coming back with PTSD. No, it's not. It's some random sissy that got picked on that never did anything in their life.
There you go.
They're the only person I can think of that was military related was that Chris Kyle, America's Sniper, got shot by one of the military guys he was training at his school in Texas or wherever.
Yeah, and he was stupid, that guy.
But it's people with normal thinking don't do things like that.
No, it's a mental
these
thing.
Outliers. And the way we track it and the way we talk about it seems to be misrepresenting the scale of which it is happening. But it shouldn't be happening at any scale. Unfortunately, it just does. But, Congress just passed or voted on and moved to the Senate the whole gun control thing that they just came up with, which still leaves people 18 and over the ability to buy certain weapons. I think they were trying to do 21 and over, but that didn't go through, or at least not through Congress. But they like stiffer gun laws, which I get as part of the not part of the problem, but something that might help solve the problem. And I was watching Jon Stewart the other day, and it was if they took guns from people that have domestic violence records, 60% of murders would that's how much it would decrease, because most murders or gun violence murders are domestic related, It's like husband shoots wife, wife shoots husband.
Well, you do take them away from them, but you give them back to them. That's the
Right.
sad
They
thing.
do like a 30-day kind of cooling off thing.
That's the stupid thing.
Well, but I mean, it's just like Robert Hinckley just got out of jail.
Yeah.
And it's like, that dude shot the president.
Yeah.
Like, why is he ever seeing the light of day again?
That's because of the way the country is.
You know, is he reformed?
Yep. No.
But so you can't, like, then that's the problem. That's the, why we have left and right wing and all these different points of view, because they pull and tug at, well, what's the right amount of time to put people in behind bars? When have they learned? Have they learned? Is there even a possibility they could learn? I think we should go back to having big asylums with crazy people in them.
So do I.
And just stick them in there and forget about them.
Yep. Just have somebody there to keep, head them upside the head every now and then.
Yeah. Once every 6 months we give them a personality test, and if they pass it for like 3 years in a row, we let them out.
Yeah.
But if it still comes up crazy, then we leave them in there. All right. So the last few questions. Actually, no. So we went to the police department, became chief of police, and then you had a stroke.
Yep.
Tell me about that and the recovery from it. What was there's things you hang on to when you're in the recovery phase of catastrophic events. What was your motivation to get back to normal or to rehab yourself? Because some people don't. Some people, they never make it.
All right. I don't know. That night I had when I was coming back from the bathroom, I just keeled over, fell on the floor, and it took everything in the world, every ounce strength, whatever, mentally, for me to get off that floor. But I finally drug myself up off that floor, and I went and I laid back down. And as I was laying there, I said, what the hell just happened to me? That's what I thought. And so I got up, and I went and sat on the couch. I lit a cigarette, took a drag off of it, went to take another drag off of it, and it wasn't there anymore. So I looked, it was down on the floor, so I picked it back up. The same thing happened. Your mama got it, wanted to know what was going on. So, she didn't know what was going on. And I couldn't talk. I just kind of looked at her, and I couldn't figure out how to make any kind of sound come out of my mouth. So then she called my sister and my nephew, and they came out there and hauled me out there, and they took me to Chapel Hill. And I spent about 2 or 3 weeks there. And I go like these voice therapy things, and I couldn't remember things like I went on. They'd say like, you went on to Florida, vacation. I went on vacation to Florida, but I couldn't think of that word, vacation. And anyway,
they call that aphasia.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it was, but it was not good. And I decided that I just wanted to be like I was, and I think that's what brought me out of it. I didn't want to be that way. I wanted to be like I was. And because they said there I'd never walk again, and I couldn't figure that out. And I thought to myself, "The hell you say?" And so yeah, that's the big deal there. And I still got problems from that stroke, but I'm still here. So
yeah, I think it seemed like about 6 months after to like 9 months I know that you seem to get back to normal-ish. You know, like normal. I hate the fucking term new normal, but after stroke normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if I didn't know you, I wouldn't be like, that guy had a stroke.
Right.
You know, and I don't think anybody would be able to. And you had a lot of people supporting you during that period too, that were working with you, the family, all the sisters and mom sisters, and everybody kind of making you do the things that were right.
Yeah.
Because we all don't like to do those things. Nobody likes to do the things that we're supposed to do.
Right.
You know, even, I really want to get better, but at the same time, you're like, man, I'd really like to lay here in bed all day.
Yeah.
Which I think of every day. I was thinking that this morning. I was like, man, I really want to do this podcast thing, but I'm fucking comfortable right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get up. Gotta get up. And we do, and that's what I guess men like us do. We just try to force ourselves to do the right things, and when we're unable to do that, we always have people around us that'll force us to do the right things, or at least push us in a direction.
Yep.
Or attempt to push us in a direction, unless we fight that. So 2 years, almost 2 years to the day, because you had the stroke in like the beginning of September, something like that, right? I know it was 2 years, around 2 years, because I broke my neck like almost exactly 2 years after you had your stroke.
Yeah.
And so in a lot of ways, I kind of understand like the recovery part of it, and trying and finding things to keep yourself motivated to get out of the hospital. I was in the hospital a little bit longer, but how did that affect you?
What?
My accident.
Well,
What happened to me?
it was worse than what happened to me. So, I mean, just the way I felt, it's, I don't know, it was just bad. Very bad. You know, it's just something you don't ever think of. I mean, you always think about your kid getting killed or whatever, but you never think about you breaking your neck.
Right.
So it's kind of hard. You couldn't really grasp it. You know, I couldn't believe it, because when she first called up, I'm like, it's just temporary, you know, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's just.
8 years later.
Yeah, I mean, it was terrible. It's the worst thing that could happen to a human being, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I think death is a lot.
I think being
easier.
blind was worse.
Well, yeah, I think so too. But at least you ain't blind. But
I have some blind friends who would say the exact opposite. They'd be like, I'd rather be paralyzed than be able to see shit. And I'm like, I'd rather be paralyzed and, what, did I say that right? They'd rather be able to see and be paralyzed.
Yeah.
And I'd rather be
paralyzed and be able to see.
Yeah. So the opposite, it's like everybody's got a problem. They want somebody else's problem is lesser.
Right.
You know what I mean?
To me,
I can handle that, but I don't know about this.
Yeah.
I like to be able to scratch my own ass. I don't need to see it. I just want to be able to scratch it.
Yeah, that's.
But I would rather be able to see the world around me than,
so would I.
Than be able to touch things.
Yep. I'd rather be just like you than blind. But yeah, it was a pretty. It made a big impact on my life.
Well, yeah, I mean, been definitely made an impact on your vacationing for your travel schedule.
Yeah.
I know y'all were there for 6 or 7 months, 7 and 8 months, whatever it was. Staying by the hospital, and then you've been here every month and a half for 2 weeks for the last 8 years, which is appreciated and helps a lot. But I think I did all right. I think I came out of it as good as anybody can.
I think you come out great.
So I wrote what do you want from my life? I know I'm 40, almost 44 years old, but parents want things for their children. What do you want from me?
I just want you to keep doing like you're doing now. I mean, if I could wish something, you know what it would be. I just wish you'd be fine. But I just want you to keep the same attitude you got right now. And because that's what everybody talks about is your attitude. And you're back home, they can't believe how you've come, where you've come from since then. So, and I can't either. I can't either.
I call it fake it till you make it. That's the best way.
Yeah, I'd like to see you get whatever you want. I'd like to see whatever the house you want, you get it, and everything's set up the way it needs to be for you. So.
Me too. I'd like to find a good contractor to be able to do that. There are any good contractors that may listen to this. Out of the threes of the tens of people that might listen to this,
exactly.
If one of you are a contractor that's a home builder and are looking to, be altruistic, please keep me in your mind.
Yeah. How about you guys? What's that? Tunnel to Towers.
Yeah. Homes for Heroes or the Gary Sinise Foundation.
Exactly.
Any of you out there that are looking to help a injured veteran, I'm your guy. If you want to give me a free house that actually has a ramp in the front door, that would be awesome. What do you think your biggest accomplishment is? And what do you, this is a separate question, but it can be related. Like, what are you most proud of?
What I'm most proud of. That's another one. I can't think of anything. I'm basically proud of everything. Everything that's, where I'm at right now. It's because I've made myself get here, financially and mentally and medically. So I'm proud of that right now. I'm proud I can still walk. I'm proud I can still build stuff like that thing over there. So and them knives and back home and stuff.
Be able to have some retirement, it's retirement. That's what people that are retired do. Like, you're able to live this part of this phase of life.
Yeah. And I'm glad that I'm not. You get some people retire from the Coast Guard and then they stay in the Coast Guard. They want to be in the Chiefs Association,
auxiliary.
Yeah, and all this other stuff. And people that retire from being a cop, they want to still go be a cop. I don't want to do any of that stuff anymore. So.
You're content.
Exactly.
Which is a good place to be at any point in life.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's what what I find tough is being content. And I think that's what drives me, is that I'm never content with anything. Yeah. I want to be, but there's always some nagging little thing that's like, nope, you could probably do something like this better, or why don't you try doing this, or whatever it is. I think my goal is to be like what you're saying, that content state of mind where it's like, I'm just happy doing what I'm doing.
Exactly.
I don't need anything else. I'm good with what I got. And if I do need something else, I'll just go do it, and I'll be content with that too. So that's something I'm striving towards, but at the same time, for me, it's like, my brain doesn't allow me to kind of rest. It's like a constant motion. I don't know how to explain it, but there's a hope for content, but there's no content in there. What are 3 of the happiest moments in your life?
Getting married, and having you and Scott.
What's the fourth? Those are three common answers. What's the fourth?
I think one of the happiest that I've been was when I retired. I was so ready to leave that police department and the law enforcement and everything. So I think I was extremely happy whenever I just said to heck with it and just retired. So
I think that sounds like where that content feeling comes from, when you're finally able to let go of those things that we chase our whole freaking life.
Exactly.
Whether it's legacy or status or money or and finally being able to go, you know what?
Yep.
I don't need any of that anymore.
Yeah, I figured I had done everything I could possibly do. You know, I wasn't no admiral or nothing, but I think I did everything I could do. So
my problem is I think I did everything I thought I could do before I broke my neck. And now it's like, even before I broke my neck, I was like, what am I supposed to be doing now? You know, I was a Marine twice. I did college, owned a home, had kids, all the things that I lived a full life. And then it's like finding things to do. And my brain works in a way like I want to find things to do, but it's just difficult when it's like when you're cut off from the neck down and you're like, I'm going to reinvent myself. And I think it's the age range too, where it's like late 30s, early 40s, you're still trying to like do things like that. Like, leave your mark, have a job or career or whatever. It's part of that developmental process as a human being. And you want to be able to leave something for your kids and be able to teach people the things that you've learned in life. And then once you've excreted all that, you can get to the point, I think, where you're at, where it's like,
exactly. And you just, let's see. Like when you got in your accident, I just bought a knife sharpener. One of those that, like, we bought when they were
at the Bass Pro or whatever.
Yeah. And that was like the point of my life. Right at that point, I was happy about that. And like you said, when you got into your accident, and everything changed. So, and it was hard until you finally got out of the hospital.
Well, now you can go back to being excited about knife sharpeners.
There you go.
Is there anything or something you've always wanted to do or experience that you haven't had a chance to do?
Yeah, I've always wanted to hike the Pacific Crest Trail. That's serious. I always wanted to do that, but
I just had a friend of mine do it.
Yeah. Well,
there's a veteran organization that does it. They take like a whatever, month, 2 months, whatever it is to hike it, but they take a group of veterans up there and they hike the PCT.
Yeah.
I had a buddy just post on Facebook. He finished the Georgia section of the AT, the Appalachian Trail. I think the Pacific Coast Trail, that's cool. I'm working on that whole trying to do summit thing with wheelchair people, but it hasn't really. I went to Colorado that one time. I decided to do things, then I went to Colorado, did one thing, and then we're still working on future things. But I like trail hiking. I can't really hike those trails with the setup that I have now, but the goal is to do something like that.
I'd like to do it with you if you ever get a chance to do it.
Well,
nothing else to hang up to the back of your wheelchair.
Yeah, let's pull you in like a wagon or something. What do you think the world needs more of right now?
Common sense.
Love.
No, just common
Common
sense.
sense.
Because there ain't none anymore.
Well, they say it isn't common.
Yeah.
So it's building a standard for a civilization that, and that's what we're supposed to. Our schools are supposed to do. We're also supposed to create a standard.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
They don't.
I think we've let it get a little out of control.
Yeah. There's no common sense.
So, and Americans don't like to be controlled, but at a certain point, it's like when people go, "Oh, that person doesn't know what they're doing." Well, it's because at some point they veered off the path of society training them to be a adult or like a decision-making person.
Yep, and you don't give people jobs just because of what color their skin is either. So that's you look at that press secretary, that LGBTQM woman that's up there now. She don't even know how to do the job. She's making a complete mockery of that whole presidency because she don't even know how to answer questions. But they put her there just because she's a queer and black. That's why they put her there.
I don't disagree. I think that a lot of things in politics are done for the optics of it, and that's forced down to corporations and other institutions. But I think it's the right person for the job. I don't care what color, orientation,
I don't either.
Whatever. It's more about your capacity to do the job.
Exactly.
Nobody's giving me any fucking handouts in a wheelchair. I'll tell you that
Exactly.
much.
And
Nobody's going, we need to hire that wheelchair guy to
Yeah.
be on the fucking press secretary and pay
Yeah.
him $6 figures. They're not doing that for me.
No.
And I don't want them to. I want to be the best person for the job. I don't want to be given a job just because, we need a wheelchair guy. I mean, I'll take that job, but I don't want that job, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It makes sense. But that's just goes right back to common sense.
What are you most thankful for? We kind of talked about that.
Well, we've already pretty much talked about that.
Well, we'll go personal motto or inspiring quote.
Do the best you can with what you got where you're at.
Yeah, that's the one I use too. That's a great one. It's the same one I use. You've got it framed in your bathroom. What do you want the world to know?
About what?
I don't know. Just what do you want the world to know? I'm Rusty Merritt. Hear me roar. Like, what do you want the world to know?
I want the world to know just everybody. I mean, it just sounds stupid. Everybody needs just to get along. Like the Russians invading Ukraine. Why are they doing that? They're not going to gain anything.
Well, supposedly it's because the region of the Donbass wants to be annexed back to Russia, but we don't know if that's Russian propaganda
That's
or
exactly what it is. Why are they
Ukraine
still fighting down
propaganda.
there?
Because they fought there for 80 years.
So I mean,
They
that
just
ain't
keep
the
fighting.
only place. I mean, it's just they're just
Right.
a stupid world we live in. Completely.
Why can't we all just get
stupid.
along? What's that?
Yeah, just
Rodney King. Can't we all just get along?
yeah. So
Be nice to people.
just it all boils back down to common sense. That's why we're paying $5 a gallon for gas.
Yeah, well, that's a mystery. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a whole lot of crap that goes into that I don't know about.
Yeah.
And I can't talk about. I just know that it sucks for a lot of people.
Yeah, because if everybody was friendly and the countries would help each other, we wouldn't be paying that for gas.
No, I agree. But I also think that they should make it $15 a gallon and force us into some sort of alternative fuel situation where we can donate some time and money and expense into actually figuring out better ways to power the things that we do.
Yeah.
Because that gas is great, but it's not the most, it's just not the most efficient and effective way to power the world. I don't know what that is,
I don't either.
but I know when there's a bunch of smoke spewing out your car, it's probably not the most efficient thing,
No.
but who knows? But I think that the only thing that forces us to do things is when it hits us in the pocketbook or the feels.
Yep.
It's either money or feels. That's it. We made it through 3 pages. Hour and 39 minutes.
Well, sure, wonderful. Can I take this off?
Yep. Well, I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. I love you.
I love you too.
And yeah, that's it.
Oh.
Hopefully it all recorded.